Hi, wonderful people. It's Mark here from Not Defining. I hope you're doing well. Today, I'm going to be talking about the link between sexuality and gender. Is there a link? And if so, how does it work? This is Not Defining, the place where we delve into all of those ins and outs of gender, sex, orientation, love, relationships, self-confidence, and so much more, so that you can find your best self however you define. So the first thing to say about sexuality and gender is that yes, they are linked. If you think about gender, that is what you are, okay? And so sexuality is the gender of person you are attracted to, okay? So they have to be linked. Now, both sexuality and gender exist on spectrums, okay? That means that they're not one or the other, male, female, gay or straight. They exist on a big continuum with lots of variety in the middle. So we have people who are male, people who are female, but we have also people who are non-binary, people who are fluid, people who are agender. You have trans men, trans women. You have all different identities along the spectrum, and they're all valid. So then when we look at sexuality, we can also say that it exists on a spectrum as well. Okay, so if you look at gender, there's male and female and everything in between. Sexuality is who you're attracted to on that spectrum. So you might be attracted to just men or just women, or you might be attracted to both, or you might have a fluid sense of your sexuality. Yeah, we call that sexually fluid. Or it might change, or you might have some kind of other variety. But the first thing to say is that sexuality and gender are inextricably linked because they're basically two sides of the same coin. If you're worrying or you're struggling or just questioning where you are on either of the spectrums and would like to know more, then please come and subscribe, come and support us on Patreon. You can get coaching and advice from me. We'd love to have you here. The second thing to say is that although there is a massive correlation, there is no set way in which gender and sexuality link up. So we can obviously see this in the example that you've got men who like women, and you've got men who like men, and you've got men who like men and women, or you've got women who like non-binary people, or non-binary people who like other non-binary people, or just men, or you have so many different varieties. So we cannot say that you are this gender, therefore your sexuality will be this. A good example of this is that with trans people, that's people who identify as having made some form of transition between a gender identity they were assigned and the gender that they truly are. Trans people can have all different types of sexualities. So if you are, let's say, a trans man, it is not true to say that that person will always be attracted to women, right? You might think that, but that is a common misunderstanding. The same goes for trans women. Trans women are not all attracted to men, okay? Actually, you have many trans men who are attracted to men, or attracted to men and women. Yeah, you have trans women who are attracted to women, okay? And everything in between. The other thing to say is that sometimes your sexuality can change when your perception of your gender or your actual gender does change. So for example, there are some trans people who have gone through a transition and they found that their sexuality has changed. Now, this is not to say that it will necessarily change, but some people have this happen to them. I think it's different for everyone, so we can't say, oh, if you start hormone treatment, that means that you will, transition to being gay or transition to be... It's not like that. But I think for most people, when you go through a big transition in the way that you are, the way that you perceive yourself, the way that your gender identity is being presented, then it's quite possible that the way that you see yourself in relation to other people will change. Because that's what sexuality is. It's not about who you like, it's about who you like in relation to yourself. Okay, so if I am a man and I am straight, that means I like women. But it also means that I like women in relation to me as a man. Okay, I like the interplay between man and woman, right? So I might watch adult content, for example, of another man interacting with a woman. Why would I do that? It's because I don't just like women, I like the interplay between man and woman. So if your gender, or the way that you are kind of perceiving your gender or thinking about your gender or presenting your gender goes through a specific change, it's quite possible that your sexuality will change along with it, and that is why. Once again, it doesn't have to be, but it can happen. Now, let's take the example of gender expression. So gender is what we are, and gender expression is kind of how we choose to behave, how we choose to conduct ourselves, and how we kind of formulate our personality around our gender or our identity connected with gender. It's often said that, let's say, gay men will be more feminine presenting, or gay women will be more masculine presenting. Why is this? Well, the first thing to say is that that is a stereotype. There is nothing scientific to say that that needs to be the case, and there are a lot of gay women and gay men and people of all different identities who don't fit into those categories. But it may be, and this is totally valid, that let's say you are a gay man and you are attracted exclusively to men, okay? And so you're not necessarily just attracted to men, but you might be attracted to the notion of masculinity, right? And so when we said that sexuality is how we view other people in relation to us, it may be, and I repeat, maybe, doesn't have to be, but it may be that you then see masculinity as something separate or different to you. And if you are experiencing only platonic relationships with women, i.e., you're not attracted to them sexually or romantically, then it may be that you feel closer to the feminine than you do to the masculine, because you're attracted to men. That's something that's going to create polarity, attraction there, and you're kind of friendly with women, so you might kind of take on a more feminine persona because of that. Same goes with gay women. There are lots and lots of varieties, and it doesn't apply to everyone, but the way that you are attracted to people romantically and platonically may affect the way that you choose to present. You may also choose to present in that way because of society's stereotypes in and of themselves. So if you're conditioned to believe that gay men are feminine or gay women are masculine, then you might fall into that culture. You might try to assimilate. You might kind of want to take on that as kind of a part of your identity, and that can happen as well. And the final thing to say is that if you are, let's say, a straight man and you are attracted to women, then you are potentially going to view women's bodies or the feminine body as something different to you. Okay? Heterosexual. And therefore, things that you associate with the feminine, you may not actually feel you identify with yourself. Okay? Again, there's that polarity. So that's where we kind of get these ideals of like masculine, feminine. Yeah, you might have been brought up to view you as a man being attractive to women as being dominant, macho, whatever. Okay? So those kind of things, when we think about our worth with other people, yeah, am I attractive to another person? we might also kind of view our gender in a specific way to try and become attractive to that person. Same might go for, let's say, a gay woman. You're attracted to women. Let's say you're attracted to feminine women. You might think to yourself, okay, well, in order to be attractive to her, in order to create a kind of attraction, a pull, a polarity with her, I feel some masculinity in myself. Yeah, because in some way that creates the attraction and the interplay, which is so often found when we're talking about kind of two people coming together and being attractive. Once again, it doesn't have to be like that, but this is kind of where we get these ideas of masculine and feminine from. So those are just a few ways in which sexuality and gender can be linked. Please let me know if you have other ones. I'd love to know in the comments. And if you would like to find out where you might fit on the sexuality spectrum, then check out this video coming up and this playlist, which should be coming up on the screen right now. If you want more support, come and support us on Patreon, patreon.com/notdefining. We'd love to see you, and I will speak to you again very soon. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.